Today's episode is brought to you by COLBOR.
Last time on Bad Flashes.
Okay, let's clink our thingies.
Well, here we are. Back at it again. It usually never happens this way. Same distant location within the same month. Overall, it's a great thing this location is so close. Some spots are just way too good to visit only once, especially when you wish that you could play God and just extend Magic Hour for one more hour. I mean, if Terrence Malick couldn't do it, then I don't think anyone can. But ever since we made our way east towards that beloved Route 66 of ours, one location has been haunting my dreams: the dunes. Honestly, you can prepare all you want for an upcoming trip, but even that can't save you sometimes. But to get this old bucket of rust to start firing on all cylinders, I needed some fuel. The fuel that keeps cowboys getting back up on that horse. That sweet, sweet barbecue. I'm happy. Oh, ready to shoot.
Are you saying no? Is he saying no? We gonna pass it? We're not gonna do it?
That's my way of saying no.
I guess he just, I said yes and he said no. I thought this was a democracy, but I guess it's a dictatorship.
Yep.
Bullshit.
Since Mr. Grain and I have been at this whole trip thing for a while, we knew we couldn't just spit fire right away. You must really warm up to start taking photos worth the taking. So we ended up making a pit stop at some abandoned structures out there in the desert. And yeah, you might be thinking to yourself, the desert? Surprise, surprise. Like any respectable Western, I had a hard choice to make. Which film would I sacrifice as my first offering of the day? I was feeling creative today, and that would show in my choice of film stocks. Since it was high noon, the choice was easy, black and white. So I pulled out Daddy Kent in 120 and decided to push it a stop, to give it an extra bit of grit. The first thing I noticed when arriving here at the structure was that it was roughly intact. As intact as my heart was when I found out that they wouldn't be making a second Solo, a Star Wars story movie. Overall, this first image is a bit weak. Undoubtedly, I could do better. The composition wasn't quite right. However, the second image that passed through my camera lens was much better. I love the contrast of the exterior windows against the darkened patches around the interior room. There was actually enough information outside those windows, but creatively, I wanted to blow them out to pure white.
Crossing. No, it was good. It was a good one. It was really a funny joke. Jason just said a funny joke. Oh yeah, baby.
One great thing about all the windows being blown to hell was that you could utilize them as frames within frames, a passageway into one's desert soul. Even though I ended up pushing Kentmere 100 one stop, I ended up adding more contrast in post. I do end up doing that quite a bit when it comes to a lot of flavors of Kentmere. I could have easily pushed it 2 stops. Maybe I shall try that next time. Weirdly enough, I found myself being very selective with these shots at the first location. Maybe I'm picky in my old age, or maybe it was just the fact that my bladder was as full as a kid's water balloon. Either way, I started out at a slower pace than my usual spray and pray.
Well, I think I have toilet paper. Okay. If you want to go that route.
Here. Oh hey, there's a little poopy potty thing. But I did tell Jason I had to use the restroom. So, guess this is the first time for everything.
Moving along to nearby locations yielded the same results. For the most part, slow going. Overall, the results were decent, but nothing to write a long, sentimental letter home about. This house had been burnt to a crisp, either by the wild animals or the hot desert sun. Maybe some sunscreen might have helped. As these locations expire from our minds, it was time to move on. We had to stay on schedule to make sure that we would get to the dunes on time. So we hopped into our Blue Girl and hit the road. Our last stop would be the forbidden dunes that my Honda Civic couldn't safely deliver us to. More buried houses would await our bodies. Our camera bodies, that is. I got turquoise at 125 in here, ISO 125, and then I have TriX in this one, so I have black and white and turquoise. It literally makes no sense, but I'm here for it. Again, our second location was decent overall, but nothing mind-blowing. But soon the metaphorical winds would be changing, and our location luck would be getting better. This abandoned homestead was a gem to find. It was cool to see how this place had stood the test of time here in the harsh sun. Last time I shot turquoise in 35mm, while on a beers and camera retreat, I remember the brown buildings I took a photo of ended up turning a shade of turquoise. Naturally, seeing this landscape, I knew the right choice would be to continue with that turquoise in 120. At this point, I started to feel the photography flow through my entire body and into my fingers. This sign is perfectly framed by the turquoise. Yeah, that. Damn, I killed that Lomo Turquoise fast. TriX 400. As much as I am fond of these turquoise shots, sometimes there's just something classic about a good old black and white photo.
That sounds so good.
My turn.
He's just been following me around all day. Every time I take a shot, he takes one.
I can't get rid of them.
But before we continue, let me tell you about today's sponsor, COLBOR. One of the most important things in photography or videography is lighting. And COLBOR makes some really well-constructed LED lights for any size production. Recently, I've been using their 220 and their 60-watt lights, and they've been brightening my world. The 220 watt is a super bright, bi-colored LED light that can go from 2700 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin. The 60R unit is a full-colored RGB light, so you can make this puppy sing in so many different colors. You want violet? You want aqua? You want to make a fire effect? These lights can do that too. The CL220 is of a metal design with NATO rails for different ways of rigging, while their BP65 softbox is literally the easiest softbox I've ever assembled. No joke. 2 pops and you're done. The 220 watt is perfect for my studio. Honestly, I rarely use this bad boy at full power. But if you find yourself in a pinch for even more light, you can daisy chain multiple lights together to get extra output. Not to mention, COLBOR makes it easy to control all the lights through one app. These lights are a breeze to use and extremely lightweight. They even come with a nice little carrying case for easy portability. These lights are great to have in my filmmaking toolkit, and I can't wait to explore them further. So if you're looking to take your production value to the next level, check out COLBOR for all your lighting needs. Okay, back at it.
We're back, baby. We're back to my little home, my little oasis in the desert.
Moving towards our destiny, we had some time to kill before the sun would set and cast its golden hour onto our landscapes. We ended up visiting a familiar friend.
Here. Sand. Sand. I shouldn't be coming here because it's all overgrown with sand more.
This go-around was pleasant not to be rushed by the light. It made walking around and exploring the surroundings less hectic. As before, my body was drawn to the interior of this back house. This image of the interior sand dunes is perhaps nothing extraordinary, but magical. It's not every day you get to see a home filled with sand extending towards the ceiling fans. Unless, I guess, you live in the world of Dune. That would probably do it too.
Look at that. That was cake.
Now that sunset was approaching, we wanted to explore the other side of the dunes. Unfortunately, expectations didn't meet reality.
There's not a lot right there. Not at all.
Okay, go down.
Over the windy dunes and the buried treasure, I did happen to find one shot that I liked a lot. The dark fence, in contrast with the sand, leading your eye towards the dividing light, makes my abandoned heart burst with warmth. This might even be print-worthy.
Well, sometimes locations just are a bust. A big old bust. Oh well, time to go home.
However, another unknown location was calling towards us. Both Mr. Grain and I, defeated from the lack of bangers, had some film to burn. So once arriving in Newberry Springs, we had no qualms with finishing our rolls. However, upon further examination, these shots are also very mid. Yet another group of images that I would not write home about. Once finishing that last roll of Lomo 800, I pulled out my Olympus Mu and fired a few more frames. These shots are nothing more than basic. In the end, this trip fell flat. Sometimes your expectations outweigh reality. But I did end up getting a few images that I am quite fond of, and at the end of the day, that's okay in my book. I once again had fun exploring and hanging out with my buddy. Maybe someday, these dunes will call again. And will I answer? Only time will tell.